Hey everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, I'm super honored to have with me none other than D. Snider. D spent over a half hour with me talking about For the Love of Metal Live, some of his recording plans for 2021, what he has in store for us at the end of this year, his new Funko Pop, Frankie Banali, and much more. Both of us being Long Island guys, we even touch on the Long Island music scene for a little bit as well. Thanks a lot, D, for being so cool and spending a lot of time with me. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. Now, without further ado, let's get started with my conversation with the one, the only, Mr. D. Snider. Yeah, well, congratulations to you on the Love of Metal Live CD, DVD, Blu-ray. You happy with it?
Extremely. I wanted to capture. There's a lot of things I wanted to do with it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a premonition that we were going to have COVID this year and there would be a need for one. Mm-hmm. It's just I wanted to capture what I do in its totality as a frontman, and mm-hmm. I feel that it does that. I wanted to show the connection from where I started with Twisted and where I am today, and show that there is, you can connect those dots.
Absolutely.
They're not mutually exclusive. I also wanted to show the community. I have a true love for metal, obviously. Mm-hmm. I'm an OG metalhead day one. I'm the original guy. No one can argue with me about heavy metal. Unless it's someone who is my age or older, and then we can have a discussion about it. But I really just, it's to me, it's such a positive force in the world. It's such a unifying force. And with this video, I wanted to show that we are more similar than we are different. And one of my favorite moments in the video is during We're Not Going to Take It, when it cuts from the whitest white people in Sweden to the brownest brown people in South America, all wearing the same uniform, denim and leather, and all sing horns in the air, and all singing with the same enthusiasm, the same passion. And it's not about they're singing to me. That's not the point. The point is this is our commonality. This is our community. This is the love we have, and it's the same all over the world. And I would say, when you meet a person on the street, if they say they're a metalhead, it's almost like, okay, did we just become best friends?
Right, absolutely.
It's like you have this sort of immediate bond that, we speak the same language. Speak the same language.
Right, absolutely. You touched on something to me that when I listen to the album, whether it's the Twisted Sister stuff, Widowmaker, your new stuff, like you said, side by side, they all sound like they're recorded today. They all sound relevant, whether it's, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, Under the Blade, they all sound relevant for 2020. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for that. And I believe that the music does hold up, but it was certainly enhanced by my amazing band. And let me name their names: Charlie Belmore on guitar, Nikki Belmore on drums, Nick Taz Petrino on guitar, and Russ Bizzuto, Long Island boy, on the bass.
I'm in Farmingdale, Long Island.
All right, good. Talented guys, but they also, there's the subtleties there of detuning, and they did really well. Like, I didn't realize some of the stuff they were doing until I was listening to a live record, because but with just a little more, here and there, just a little more, digging in on some of the riffs. And I was like, oh, wow, but it wasn't obtrusive, intrusive is the word I'm looking for, where I would be thrown. Because I get thrown by any changes, but it's definitely there, and just making it sound more cohesive.
Absolutely. And to me, I wondered, did you feel any pressure when you were getting ready to put out this live album, your last album, the studio album, was so well received, right? For the first time, I think in your solo career, everybody, the praise was overwhelming. Did you feel pressure with this, with putting out the live album?
Not really, because live is what I do best.
Absolutely.
I think that if I would say, put my abilities as a rocker on the, I put frontman at the top. And, and that goes back, and I talked about this. I don't know where I talked about this, but I have, but to the very earliest days of Twisted Sister, very early. And we were doing 5 days a week, 4 shows a night. And I arrived, we had a show Saturday night, place is packed, and we kick into the first song, and I open my mouth, and I've got like 3 notes. And this is the first song, first set.
Oh, wow.
And I look at JJ, and I go, JJ goes, on the stage. He's like, oh, sorry, I can't, we have to go, because, and so I just started, that was a breakthrough day for me as a frontman. I just started going crazy as performing to like next level that shit.
Absolutely.
And the audience, I realized, was engaged, and they were more, it didn't matter that I wasn't able to sing the way I normally like to sing, because there was a point where I pride myself on my vocal prowess back in the early days when I joined Twisted. No, they wanted to be entertained. And I realized from that point, it's better to look good than to sound good. It's better to rock hard than to be perfect.
Okay.
It's not about being perfect. If it was about being perfect, I would have re-recorded the end of I Want to Rock on this live record, because I had pulled out my inner ears, and when I come back in, I am in another key, and I'm singing, I want to, oh my God. But it wasn't, the moment was right. The audience didn't care. They would scream and rock for so loud. But I learned that at the Mad Hatter in East Quogue, 76, summer 76.
Sure.
First summer with Twisted Sister, that it's about being a frontman. So to me, I wasn't worried about being a frontman.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I remember from the early days of Twisted Sister. The first time I saw the band live was actually the home video that you guys did for Stay Hungry. And I remember instantly, I love the songs, but instantly I was drawn to, wow, what an incredible frontman. And on the new album, I love the fact that you've included like some of the stage raps on the songs. And you're talking about like on the new songs, hey, you guys better not be going out for a piss break during this time. And you're talking about Mother Nature and all that. And it's like a real, true, authentic live feeling, I felt like, this whole album.
Well, that's great, Mike. And that was important to leave that stuff, for me, to leave that stuff in. Because, my wife often says her favorite parts of the show when I stop singing and talk. And that's her favorite parts of the show. And it's what really differentiates me from even other frontmen. The late Lemmy Kilmister paid me, who, was a dear friend.
Sure.
The year before he passed away, we did a show together, and we were talking, and he paid me. To me, it's like the highest compliment in the world coming from Lemmy.
Sure.
Because he is, he saw the Beatles at the Cavern Club, the Stones at the Marquee Club. He roadied for Hendrix. This guy has seen rock from its inception.
Sure.
And he told me, he said, you are one of the 3 best frontmen I've ever seen, and you are the best at talking to an audience. And so it was important to me to have that, me conversing with the crowd and engaging the crowd in that way, which I don't think many others do.
Yeah.
And that's it, by the way. The rap about go and take a piss, that was, that part of that was, like something I've done before, because that's a thing for me about people leaving. Like they think we can't see them. You can literally see them walking out. And but the one about Mother Nature and Go Rain on those fuckers at the EMT festival. I mean, this is just stuff that comes to my head, you know. And so it's just very spontaneous. It's very reactive to my environment, which is something, a lot of other front men, they'll say the same line every night without any awareness of their surroundings.
Very true.
David Lee Roth had some line he said about fucking the guy's girlfriend, some guy in the audience, and he had said it at Madison Square Garden, and the next night at the Nassau Coliseum, he said the same line at the same time. I didn't think it was a person harassing him. I think he just went, yeah, fuck you, I'm going to, he had a stock line. Saw Triumph at the Calderon Concert Hall, and they had a moment in the show where they put the lights on the balcony, and they would say, how you doing up there? Great moment.
Right.
Except the show hadn't sold well, and they closed the balcony.
Oh, no.
Noticed that there was nobody in the balcony. They put the lights up there, and there was a guy sweeping. One guy up there, like, frozen like a deer in the
that's
head.
Hilarious.
Hi. Like, this is, so I try to be aware of where I am and what's going on and the weather and the crowd size and is there anybody actually in the back to say, well, how's it going back there?
Right, absolutely.
Yell that shit out.
Right. Well, it comes through obviously on the video, but even on the CD. And like you said, there's a big difference between a lead singer and a front man. So I'm happy to hear, let me pay you those compliments that you so deserve. Do you feel like you get enough credit from, I'll say, the fans in the music industry as a front man?
No. I don't.
Yeah, agreed.
But I don't blame anybody. Twisted did, in reality, the touring element of like the full-blown touring was very short-lived. And we didn't, so it didn't go on for very many years. Like we didn't start touring until 83, where we were actually in other countries, other states. And by 87, we had in 85 we had a truncated Come Out and Play tour. In 87 we had a truncated Love Is Suckers tour. So we never did that level, that depth of touring where people really got to see the band. Much of a frustration to a lot of people who say, I never got to see the band. We didn't, even when we reunited, we were only doing 20 shows a year. That's not boring. So we did this insane, dense performing schedule when we were in the tri-state area in those 8-10 years leading up to breaking through. Then we broke through, and it was a very small amount of touring before we broke up. Yeah. So and that's the only way people are going to know about things like that is if you're actually out there going town to town. So my bad.
Right. And it's funny that you say that, Chris. The first time I saw Twisted Sister in person was the 9/11 show that you guys did in New York City that Eddie Trunk helped put together. So that was the first time I got to see the bands, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I'll say, look, then came Desperado, never toured. Right. I put years that. Then came Widowmaker. We toured, the first album quite a bit. Second album, a couple weeks into the tour, Joe Franco breaks his finger, and that was the end of that.
Right,
then,
absolutely.
So anyway, I've never been really one of those touring entities that really got down and dirty. 200 shows, 100 shows, where people really got a chance to see you work in the country, work in the world that way, say what Bon Jovi did or whatever.
Right. Absolutely. Now, one of the things I love about the whole new package that you put out is each one, if you buy the Blu-ray or the DVD, it's a little bit different than the CD, right? The CD has an extra studio track on it, right? So talk a little bit about that studio track. Prove me wrong, right? So talk a little bit about that.
And by the way, I'm cool. We can go to the bottom of the hour.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Prove me wrong. The record companies are always looking for, like packaging, ways to get people to actually commit to buying the product these days. Like you said, there's something different on everyone. And that's been going on since the beginning of time. I remember when in England, we released I Am On Me, and the record company, Atlantic Records, released it in like 4 different formats.
Nice.
So, and knowing that there were fans who were going to have the picture disc, the EP, they had, and sure enough, we went right to the top of the charts because, for every fan, we were selling 4 pieces of product. It was a cheat, but it did the job.
Right.
So the record company Napalm wanted to know have any outtakes from For the Love of Metal,
Mm-hmm.
and I said we have no outtakes. They're like, oh, I said, but we can do a new song, and they're like, even better.
Sure.
So so me and Charlie Belmore wrote "Prove Me Wrong," and the message, besides the message of the song to people, subtext is, this is Dee Snider now. This wasn't an outtake.
Right.
Here we are 2 years later. I've written a new song with Charlie, and look, it's right. This is where I am. This is what I'm doing, and this is what you can expect from me in the future.
Right.
People have been asking me about, a Twisted reunion or Twisted something, and I was like, I just finally made my mark with Dee Snider with For Love of Metal, and if I do anything right now, it's going to be following that up and solidifying that sound with the audience and that connection to the metal community. So we are actually it's the same team, Jamie Josta producing, Nikki Belmore engineering, mixing, Josta is curating, and we are working on material for the next record right now.
Right. And, to me, one of the things that you touch on a little bit here is, you helped write this song. I was always surprised with the last album, because you've always been like the songwriter on your albums, right? I was actually surprised to see you give up that last time. And I'm happy to see now this time you're getting back into that.
I needed to do a trust fall. You know what a trust fall is?
Yep.
I needed to, because I stumbled and tried, and sometimes knowing I was doing something that was barking right up the wrong tree, and other times not realizing I was, and I needed to put my faith in someone else to guide me, because when Jamie Josta challenged me to do the record, I was like, look, Jamie, I appreciate the challenge, and this is my side conversation. This isn't the exact conversation. I said, but I've been trying for decades to find this place and this mystical place, solo career. And I said, I'm just not getting it right. Right. And he said, I'm going to produce this, and everyone's going to want to write for you, and I will help you with this and guide you and help you find that sweet spot. And to his credit, and this is a fact, he told me that he went and listened to every single thing I ever recorded.
Oh, wow.
And read every word I ever wrote.
Wow.
And I joked and said he was like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. He made a piece and he put it on his arch, fuck me, and so when he started bringing in songs and I'm reading the words, they could have come out of my mouth. Right. And Jamie and I, we have similar mindset to begin with, but he really put in the work, because he knew that, look, Frank Sinatra didn't write My Way. Right. Elvis didn't write Hound Dog. Celine Dion didn't write My Heart Will Go On. Yep. Okay. But if it's right, you can. It is My Way is Frank Sinatra's song. Right. Oh, absolutely. It is. Frank owns it. Yep. So if it's right for you, and Jamie went that extra mile, he said, this has got to be, these words have to sound true for Dee Snider. So I hope he gets the recognition he deserves as a talent, because he's far more than Hatebreed, even though Hatebreed's an amazing band. Sure,
absolutely. Now, you've spoke about being a front man, right? But I don't think you should sell yourself short as a singer. And, to me, I listen to your voice. You're in your 60s now. And I look at your peers who are in their 50s and 60s, and you've still got it. And a lot of them don't. How do you retain that?
Well, I know I'm a better, again, like everything, I'm a better singer than people realize.
Absolutely.
Than people know. I'm working on a Christmas release where I am singing very clean. And people are like, whoa, I didn't expect that out of you. I said, well, it's a fucking Christmas song.
So it's not going to be like the Twisted Sister Christmas album, I guess.
No. This is a song I wrote for Suzette that Celine Dion recorded.
Nice, yep.
Now I'm doing a duet on it in a real TSO Queen kind of vibe.
Nice.
So that's something being worked on right now that I haven't really formally announced.
Okay.
But I was in a show called Rocktopia on Broadway.
Yeah.
And they brought me in to be the rock star. It was a mashup of classical and rock with an orchestra and a rock band and Broadway singers and opera singers, and they had a rocker, and they had Robin Zander for a bit, and they got me for a bit. And when I came in, I had to sing "Stairway to Heaven," I had to sing "Kashmir," "Dream On," and I sang opera at one point in the show.
Right.
And when I go into opera, full blown with the two opera singers, a crowd leaped to their feet. And when I sang "Stairway to Heaven" in a very Robert Plant-esque voice, Robert Plant, one of my earliest influences, at the end of every show, I'd be signing autographs, and everybody would go, first of all, when I started singing "Stairway," you could hear the gasp in the crowd.
Right.
Sometimes they expect me to come out, they go, "There's a lady," like Jerry Lewis or something. And when I sang very lyrically and very smoothly and clean, they gasped. And after the show, they go, "I didn't know you could sing." And I'd go, "What the? I've been doing?
Right.
What have I been doing?" They go, "Oh, well, that was Twisted Sister. Like, yeah, you do that, but I didn't know you could do opera."
Zeppelin and opera, right?
Zeppelin, and you could do a Christmas song in a very clean voice. So people don't know, and but I know.
Right.
Now I have the D. Snider channel on my radio,
there
and
you
all
go.
and the shit from D does Broadway to For Love of Metal, the range is insane.
Yeah. No, I think I saw you, I think it was Rock of Ages, and I thought you were amazing in that. And do you ever miss that? Do you ever think of maybe doing something like that again? Obviously, right now everything's shut down, but if it opens...
that was first of all, I never planned on doing Broadway, or I never had any dreams or ambitions to do it. A lot of things, since I had to say in the last, pretty much for the last 35 years, everything's been a shock and surprise. I thought Twisted would go on forever, and that would be what I did. Suddenly that fell apart. It was like, what now? Voiceover, radio,
right.
Movies, writing, and I'm doing now. I'm directing. I'm doing all these things. I didn't ever plan. It was an eye-opening experience, one of the great experiences of my life. Subsequently, I wrote a musical called The Rock and Roll Christmas Tale, which was staged in Chicago and Toronto. So I wrote my own musical, did D does Broadway. So I loved it. And, if the opportunity arose, I would do it again in a heartbeat,
Nice.
Do a theater show. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Right now, all of a sudden, I was offered to direct, and I said, okay, and now I'm directing. It looks like 2 movies. So, that was something I never even thought about doing.
Sure.
Matter of fact, I said no so many times over the last 20 years or so. And finally I said, why do you keep saying no?
Right. Right.
Yes, I'll do it.
Yes,
So
yes. Right. Now, I know also, I think recently you mentioned that you were looking into maybe doing a new package for the Widowmaker stuff, putting both of the albums in it. Could you give us any information on that?
Absolutely. So we got a little Widowmaker chat group on WhatsApp. Me, Al Petrelli, Joe Franco, and Mark Russell, and we're all over the known world. And it was just like sort of reconnecting as friends and buddies. And then we just started like talking and going. And I had this in my mind, like, man, we realized we had a lot of stuff besides the 2 albums. We've got a lot of video footage. Recording footage, rehearsal footage, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, videos we made. And we're like, we should do something with this. It's a little more difficult than it sounds because CMC, the ones who did not CMC, Esquire Records, which was created for that album, Blood and Bullets. They got indicted by the Canadian government. The Mounties rode to Long Island pretty much and arrested everybody. I hang out with the best people. I know the best people. And so ever since then, it's sort of been out of print. And we're trying to trace it and track it down. And we don't even know who controls the property right now.
Oh, wow.
So we're trying to negotiate a situation where we can get the 2 records and then add all this, all these DVD bonus extra footage and stuff like that.
Nice.
We got a show during a snowstorm from a club called Spit on Long Island in the 90s. And it was a great show.
Nice.
Snowstorm, a handful of diehards there, and it was a great show. So we got that filmed in its entirety. So there's some stuff.
Nice, nice. Now, I also have to take a moment and congratulate you finally Funko Pop coming out on you, right? It's about time.
You know what? I mean, it was like, now I feel like it's a mercy Funko. You know, it's like, you know, all right, I'll Funko you. You know, like, thanks. And a really weird thing was, I sort of, like, out of exasperation, I wrote something like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't want a mercy. And then JJ contacts me. He goes, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, we did a deal. Yours is being made."
That's great.
I said, I don't give a shit. Now I'm like, oh, we're having one.
Oh, that's great.
So it's kind of funny, but yeah, people have been, and it's been. You just look at the social media reaction, and there's thousands and thousands of retweets, and people wanted it. You know,
it makes sense. Is there going to be one for each band member?
Right now, it's just me.
Okay.
And credit to Twisted for, accepting that. That's right for now, and hopefully they will do the other band members, because I think we were all Funko Pops in our entire careers. We're natural.
Absolutely, I agree. Now, recently Frankie Banali passed away. Unfortunately, we all know that news. A lot of fans may not know that he actually sat in with you guys on an award show a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, in Vegas, at Post, we got an award, like a Legends Award or something, from a rock magazine. And Frankie played drums. We're not going to take it. I want to rock. What a powerhouse! I'd played with him before, though.
Okay.
So the SMFs were open. I was doing the SMFs thing, which was playing Twisted songs in both clubs, and it was a gig with Quiet Riot, and we were going on first, and Kevin got arrested at the airport for like some libel thing that he had. Not, I don't know what it was, but he had never paid something on. He had hurt somebody, whatever. Okay. And so the band's all there, and it's the OG. It's Carlos, it's Frankie, it's Rudy, and they're like, we're set up. They're waiting for Kevin, and so they said, "Could you do a couple songs?" So I did Metal Health. I did Mom We're All Crazy Now. I did Come On Feel the Noise. What a thrill, because I'm a huge Slade fan, and I have so much respect for them. So, but that's when I realized that Frankie was like, this guy's like, he's like AJ. Right. They were brothers, really. Okay. The New York Italian drummer thing is almost
yep. Okay.
With
absolutely.
The curly hair.
Yep.
It's like really Bobby Rondinelli, and there's a whole litany of these guys.
Absolutely. I have to ask you just one more question, if you don't mind. So, like I said before, I'm in Farmingdale, Long Island, New York, and I drive by Adventureland 5 times a week, and every time I do, I'm like, I can't believe Twisted Sister actually played there one time, and I think it was 1979, had 25,000 people there on the same night Kiss was playing Madison Square Garden, 25 miles away, right, to 15,000 people. When you think back to that, right, Twisted Sister, unsigned band, playing to 25,000 people, shutting down 110. I drive by, I know how big that is. That's amazing that an unsigned band would do that.
It was a testament to how popular Twisted was. We didn't expect it. They were doing a weekly concert series, and they were averaging 300 to 800 people. And we were at the, and they announced, Twisted, blah, blah, blah. And this was an opportunity for people who weren't of club age to get to see us, which is one of the reasons the numbers just went through the roof. Sure. But I remember we were in the trailer getting ready, and Joe Gerber, it was his first day as our tour manager. And he walks in, and he's white as a ghost. And I go, "What's going on? How's it look out there?" He goes, "Look out the window." And I hadn't, and I look out, and there is just a sea, a festival sea of people, and they're on the building, and they're all over the place. It was a madhouse, and Twisted played. And so a couple things happened years later. One thing is I went with my grandkids to Adventureland, and there's a whole poster, big wall thing. Believe it or not. Right. On this date, Twisted Sister played. And they've got a picture of us with the documentation of like the moment. The other thing was, after 25 years, I approached the owners of Adventureland. I said, "What do you think about doing a 25th anniversary show with the band here?"
Right.
You know what they said?
No.
"No, thank you. We're still cleaning up."
Oh, well, that's great.
What they said, and they were joking, but they were like it was still the same owners, and they were like, listen,
Right.
that was we were not ready for that. We
Right.
did not expect that. We were banned from every outdoor venue in the Northeast
Sure.
for years because of that show,
Right.
and but it was. But there was no thank you. We're still cleaning up.
It,
So
it doesn't
yeah.
surprise me because my daughter played in School of Rock and they've played in Adventureland to 50, 60 people, which is what it should be, not 20,000. So I'm always blown away by that story. It's such a great story.
It was an amazing day.
Absolutely.
And it's an amazing memory to have, and a testament to the band's fan base that kept us. And say this is since you're a Long Island gal, I'll say this before I go.
Yeah.
Never. I think our documentary was a tribute to the fans. I think I spoke. We tried to make it a tribute to the fans, interviewing them about it. But you were what kept us going to get the rejection notices every day from the labels, and every night go in front of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 23,000
Right.
fans screaming and losing their mind for an unsigned band. It reassured us that we were on the right path, and these people, these suits in the towers just did not know.
Absolutely.
And so thank you for that. You were right.
Yep.
They were wrong, and I hope we made you proud. I hope we made Long Island proud because
Without a doubt.
Because you made us proud.
Without a doubt. And here we are 40 years later talking about Love of Metal, live CD, and a new one coming up hopefully in another year or two, or hopefully sooner. So
yeah, I think that you'll see a new record in 2021.
Awesome.
You won't see new shows until 2022 for a variety of reasons, and mainly because they kind of cut and paste this tour from all the touring from 2020. Literally just got like, okay, next year, cut and paste. So everything's just sort of locked up and built up. And I was already, I had already committed to not touring in 2020.
Sure.
And that's cut and paste for me too. One of the things, besides I wrote a novel, which we're shopping a deal for right now. I was supposed to be directing my first movie in May, and that got moved to next year. So everything is like everybody just sort of, hit the pause button.
Of course.
And my wife's even, hitting the pause button. We had supposed to have a big 60th birthday for her. We were supposed to go on a safari. We were going to Egypt, and it all got postponed. She said, "Good, I'm postponing my birthday."
Oh wow!
And I said, "What do you mean postponing?" She says, "I'm not turning 60 till next year."
There you go. I like it.
You know what? I think everybody should just take a pass. Whatever's going on this year, and then 2021. Just skip this year entirely.
I like it. Well, Dee, anything else you want to tell your fans before we close this up?
It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
Thank you. Likewise, Dee. Appreciate it.
Oh, well, you got a much better man cave than me. I'm actually in the middle of moving, so I'm in an empty bedroom. I've got on top of an empty dresser. I've got my laptop. We bought this place. And we put our place in Vegas on the market. It sold immediately, and they're like, we got to close now. So we're like, what? So we're basically tomorrow, the same day. We close on our new house and close on our old house the same exact day.
Wow.
And we got moving companies coming in while we're closing. I'm not even going to be there. Right, so anyway, sorry to stay.
Not a problem. I appreciate your time today, Dee, and good luck with the move. And we look forward to a new album next year, hopefully.
Right, for the love of metal.
For the love of metal. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye. All righty, there you have it. I'd like to once again say thank you to Dee for spending over a half hour with me talking all about everything going on in the world of Dee Snider. Thanks so much. I know I'm speaking on behalf of all Dee Snider fans when I say that we're really excited to hear that you can have new material coming out in 2021. We're really looking forward to that. I'd also like to say thanks to Dee for unexpectedly agreeing at the last second to do this chat on video. That was unexpected on my side, and all I can say is thanks a lot, Dee. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.